right, I'd like to welcome you to Personhood Florida's video call. We're going to actually go over a question. We're going to ask a question. Did the 6-week abortion ban decrease abortions in the state of Florida? And so this is a topic. The abortion ban went into effect last year, May 1st, and we're going to be actually going over this. We'll be looking at the abortion stats. What I'll do, I'll actually, just so if you're watching this, you can actually know how to get there. What we're going to do, I'll show you the screen. We'll go out to our website here. In fact, let me get over to a different page. So we'll go to Personhood Florida's website. And from the home page, there's resources on the tab at the top. So we'll click on resources, then go down to legislators, and then over to the right, 2025 Personhood Florida legislative resource page. So we're going to click on that. This is all the documents that we actually handed out to legislators, and some of which we didn't hand out because they're too big, cost too much money to print that much, and so we handed them the bill analysis. We actually also presented a QR code where they could actually access the rest of these. We also handed them the 2024 Florida abortion stats by county and reason. And when you click on that, it'll either open it up in your browser or it will open it up in Adobe Reader or Adobe Acrobat. I have it open in Adobe Acrobat. And what we see here, the first page is the 2024 Florida abortion statistics, reported induced termination of pregnancies, also known as ITOP, from the Agency of Healthcare Administration from the state of Florida. These are official numbers. We didn't just make these up. These are official numbers from the state of Florida. We see the total cases by the mom's county of residence. So this is not the numbers based on where the abortions happened. It's based on where the mother actually resides. So you'll see several counties that do not have abortion clinics. In fact, the majority of counties in the state of Florida do not have abortion clinics, but you will see the counties that do have abortions done in them. And some of the counties have an asterisk. In those counties, there were 20 or fewer abortions that were performed in those counties. And we also did perform in the state of Florida. Abortionists killed 3,754 abortions from out of state. So that's on the one page. There are 60,755 abortions reported. This particular stat was last updated the end of December of 2024. However, there's on the reason page, the second page, and these stats were done with an effort, and this is an official report from the Florida Baptist Children's Home One More Child project. Mary Lou Hendry is the Sanctity of Human Life Director at One More Child. She's also a board member of Personhood Florida. We did participate in helping to put these stats together as well. That first page on the state of Florida is actually a 3-page document, and we condensed it and put it into one page to make it easier. But one of the things you see here on this page, where you're looking at the induced termination of pregnancy analysis report, where you're looking at the reason that abortions happened, the number actually is much higher. It's 64,854. So it's actually almost 4,100 abortions high. Almost 4,100 more abortions were performed than were reported by county, and that's because these stats are later reporting date of February 5th. They have not yet updated the abortion by county stats, so we don't know exactly, but really we're looking at about 6,400, almost 6,500 abortions that were
65,000.
excuse me, yeah, 65,000. Thank you, Jay, for correcting. 65,000 abortions that were performed. We do see, based on the 60,000 number, we do see that this was a 26% decrease in abortions. And when you go up to the 64,000, you know, you're dropping that percentage down to maybe 21%, 22%, somewhere around there. But what we are looking at here is that abortions are still happening in the state of Florida. And I'm going to switch over to Microsoft Teams and bring in two people. I'm the president of Personhood Florida. We also have Jay Rogers, who's the president of Personhood Florida Education, and Wanda Cohn, who's the secretary of both Personhood Florida and Personhood Florida Education. And Jay has some interesting analysis on these stats here.
Okay, well, the first thing that people want to know is, what do these stats actually mean? In the past, I used to report just abortions by county, where the abortion clinic or where the abortions took place, which I always found interesting, because we found that the number of abortions that took place in counties without an abortion clinic was almost zero. In some cases, it was, you know, below 10 or something like that. So now we're looking at the county of the parent, county of the mother that traveled to have an abortion. So most abortions take place in an abortion clinic, and that even includes what they call medical or chemical abortions, because they do report those as well. What it does not include are abortions that might be done with the morning after pill or something that's not prescribed, or even mail order pills. So those numbers are not included. But they were not included before either. So we don't know for certain, like, the total number of abortions. We know what the total number of reported abortions are. Those are the statistics that we have. Now, we think it's great that abortions went down about 23%, and that's only from May 1st, when the law went into effect. And we also know that there was, supposedly, what we heard in the news was that there was sort of a rush of women to get abortions at the end of the year, supposedly. That may have affected the numbers too, but we're not going to know until the end of 2025, beginning of 2026, what the effect of the 6-week law actually is. We were told by the pro-abortion side and by the media, the liberal media, that this was in effect a total ban on abortion, because most women don't know that they're pregnant until after 6 weeks. But there are a number of exceptions in the law. And what that does is it kind of opens up a window. It opens up exceptions, and doctors can make the determination. And so we're kind of like allowing the abortion doctor and the abortion staff themselves, kind of like the fox guarding the hen house sort of scenario, where they're regulating themselves to make sure that abortions are not done after 6 weeks. So it'll be interesting to see, with the exceptions, obviously. And I believe that the exceptions are for fetal anomalies and the life and health of the mother. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there is a rape, incest, and human trafficking exception that allows abortion through the end of 15 weeks. There's also a fatal fetal anomaly exception that allows abortion through the end of the second trimester. And there's not only a life, but also the health of the mother that allows abortion all the way to the moment of birth in the state of Florida. So that's the current 6-week ban, actually does allow abortion all the way to the moment of birth. And there were quite a few abortions that were performed last year, not only to protect the life of the mother, but also to protect the health of the mother. And obviously, even if you're beyond the moment of beyond viability, why don't you just deliver the baby at that point? You don't need to actually kill a baby to save a mother's life, or even to save the mother's health. You could actually deliver the baby, and both of them would live at that point.
What I wanted to emphasize, the most important thing about this is to realize that even if the numbers come in next year and we've cut abortions by 30% or 40%, we'll think that that's great. If we take a straight ratio, it's going to turn out to be about between 30 to 40% of a drop. But the problem with this is that most Floridians are under the impression that, well, we have a 6 week law that will protect babies after 6 weeks, and they think that that's great. But it's not eliminating still most abortions in Florida. So we still have a lot of work to do. And the most important thing that we can do is to get personhood recognized in our laws, that human beings are persons, a little baby is a person from the moment of fertilization, conception, and that all life needs to be protected, that there needs to be equal protection for all life from biological beginnings all the way through natural death. And so we want people to keep in the battle. Also realize that most abortions don't take place for these reasons. Most abortions listed on here are for personal choice, elective, socioeconomic reasons, more than 95%. And so what does that tell you if there's a 6 week law and yet we still have a large number of abortions, and somehow women know that they have, that this is their personal choice, or, for socioeconomic reasons. And yet we're told that most women don't know they're pregnant at this point. So there's something going on that's fishy here. And we're going to have to look at this. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait another year to look at the statistics to know what's really going on. But these laws that have a lot of exceptions in them don't work the way that people think that they're going to work. And the only way to really come against that is by, number one, recognizing do no harm to the person. It's a human being made in God's image. And until we recognize that in law, we're not going to come close to ending abortion.
Yes. Yes. So one thing also that Jay mentioned is that we don't really know on these stats. These stats do not include the abortions that happen through basically mail order, and women are actually able to call a business that operates outside of the state or even outside of the country and order abortion pills. And sometimes they're even changing the terminology. They're using the same chemicals that would be in abortion pills, but they're calling it like pregnancy pills, or they're calling it period pills is what they're calling it. So they're changing the terminology to kind of skirt the laws. We don't actually know how many of those abortions are being done, or how many women are actually leaving the state of Florida to go to another state to actually perform an abortion. One of the things we will have in the future is we will have someone on another video in the future, someone that has done some analysis of the percentages of abortions that may actually be happening through these abortion pill order facilities, where abortion pills are shipped in from out of state or out of the country. And these can happen. Women can actually go on there without a doctor's visit, without any verification of who they are, how far along they are, and they can actually order these abortion pill kits, and they can have these shipped right to their house. And this is happening, even though it's illegal, it happens still in the state of Florida. And really, so we'll cover that in a future video. If you want to go to this to view this video, or to view the stats again, go to personhoodflorida.com. From the top bar, go to resources, and then legislators, and then 2025 Personhood Florida Legislative Resource page. And what you'll see there is you will see, again, our bill analysis of the various bills that we covered. I believe we covered 9 bills. Most of them pro-abortion, actually. Pro-abortion or pro-end of life, because there were actually two end-of-life bills. One was a really bad bill that would allow seniors to be able to go to a doctor and pay the doctor to give them a pill that would end their life. So we did have those bills that we covered, and there were very few pro-life bills on the list. One actually covered stem cell research, and really did a fairly good job. There were some changes that we wanted to see happen on it, but that one actually has been moving through the legislative cycle, and may actually go to a vote and may actually become law. But the abortion stats that we've been referencing are right here at the bottom: 2024 Florida abortion stats by county and reason. And the key takeaway from this is that abortions are still happening in the state of Florida. We may think that they're, again, a lot of times we actually even thought, hey, this is going to end abortion. We're not going to have abortion in the state of Florida anymore. Or, people were actually, even pro-lifers were saying that a 6-week ban without exceptions would end surgical abortion. And really, we are seeing some surgical abortion happening. We're seeing a lot of abortions happening with chemical abortion. We'll talk more about that in a future video. Also, how traumatic that is for the woman who actually in the past had an abortion and was told this is a blob of tissue and really didn't know any difference because she didn't see the baby. But now she's actually delivering a dead baby on her own toilet. And she sees the baby fully formed, even though the baby's very tiny. She sees a fully formed, perfectly healthy human being that was perfectly healthy before aborted. And so we'll have another session where we go over how traumatic that can actually be. But again, abortion is still happening in the state of Florida. We still need to be involved. I want to encourage you to get involved. If you want to be involved, we have county chapters. We go to Tallahassee once a week to lobby our state legislators. If you want to be involved, you can contact us. Just comment on this video, or send us a message on Facebook, or send us a message on our website, personatfl.com, personatfl.com. And again, you can get all of these stats right there as well on personatflorida.com. So we will be having another one of these videos next month. That'll be on the third Monday of the month around the same time. We'll be live on Facebook, also live on YouTube. And we do encourage you to share this video with your friends, share it with your family members, share it with your friends on Facebook, share it with your friends on YouTube, share it with anyone via email as well. Like and subscribe to this video as well, and to our channel and our page. And we want to encourage you to continue to fight to save every innocent human life. We haven't won yet, and we need to work as hard as we can until every single human life is protected. Thank you.